I mean, Sam Talent's set at Turnbuckle was the best 45 minutes or an hour of comedy I'd ever seen in my life up to that point. It's still the best set I've ever seen. I'd never seen anybody do that well. Like, everybody around me, like, just our faces were hurting, you know, like, you would, like, miss half of a joke because you were still laughing from the joke before, you know, kind of thing.
That's awesome.
And so, like, Kyle Kinane was kind of standing by us when he was doing the set. He's like, fuck, I gotta go up after him, you know? And, like, you're like, yeah, dude, like, I would just can't. I'd be like, no, I'm good. Here's your money back.
If anything, that would have been a pretty neat plug if Kyle Kinane walked up there and was like, I gotta follow that guy? Fuck this. And like,
you guys have a good night.
Right, threw the mic down, like, you guys have a good one, bye.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but Kyle Kinane was great still, of course. But
I was jealous of not seeing Kyle perform. I was upset because I didn't get to see Harmar Superstar. That would have been awesome.
Dude, he was great, man.
Right.
Yeah,
and a lot of people were like, who's that? I was like, you haven't heard? This motherfucker's going to tear your eardrums out.
Yeah. There was a band from, I think they're from Atlanta, either Atlanta or Nashville, called Diarrhea Planet. And I heard the name and I was like, all right, this is going to be like...
It's going to be a
dumb.
planet of diarrhea.
But they were awesome. The whole thing was cool. Like,
well put together.
Nick Thune was really funny. Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
Brody Stevens did like 45 minutes of crowd work. And
Nice.
it was hilarious. I mean,
Nice.
it was just so good.
And the more I hear people, like, I'm happy that it happened so close to home.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of pissed at myself that it was so close to home and I wasn't able to go.
Yeah. Why weren't you able to go?
'Cause of
I
work.
was in it.
It was because of work, baby. You didn't pay me to go. Nobody paid me to go. I
didn't get paid to go.
Right, so I had to look at work and go, yeah, I'll be there on time. You know what I mean? So, and it was fresh after my daughter was born, so I couldn't exactly justify.
Couldn't justify that to the wife, huh?
Right. I could have.
Honey, you don't understand. They're my favorite.
Right.
There's gonna be wrestling.
Right. There's gonna be wrestling and stand up. Let's go camp out in the farmland.
Right?
Yeah, she would have looked at me and said, "Get the fuck out."
Right. Like, you don't live here anymore.
Right. She's like, "This is not your house." Let's see. Again, friggin'. I don't know how much we should touch on it. The shooting that happened in Parkland. I know that a lot of people have fucking, been. If anything, I'm seeing a lot of shit in my Facebook feed of people like talking about crisis actors and saying that the whole thing was a hoax. And when that kind of shit comes up, I feel for the parents of the kids that actually fucking were shot and killed. It's like,
that's why people like Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh are literal pieces of garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know. Here's the thing, like, they get mad because they say, well, this is not the right time for gun legislation. But, people get shot every day. And when is the right time to talk about it? I mean, I understand that it looks as if, people are politicizing it. But I think it just, for a lot of people, it just comes down to, like, you want to do whatever you can to protect your children.
Yeah. Well, the thing that aggravates me is these posts that, people are like, oh, the media is telling you when to be upset about gun control and this and that.
Right.
Like, no, I'm pretty sure a kid walked into a high school and friggin' opened fire on a bunch of other young kids.
Right.
That kind of, that's not to say that in between each shooting, everybody forgets about it. For the most part, yes, as a whole, something else comes. It's 2018, and
at the rate that information flies at you,
right?
There's just a lot going on. But
there's a lot of shit. You have every newspaper in the world in the palm of your hands or in your pocket all day long,
right?
And there's always something new in it. Like I said, it's 2018 and it's America, and there's always going to be something else. Like, oh, there was another shooting. There was another shooting. Enough time passes by. Yeah. Oh, did you see the MTV Video Music Awards? No, I didn't. What happened there? Blah, blah, blah. Another shooting. Fuck. All right, we're thrust back into this debate about gun control, and it's not the mass media fucking telling us, oh, now you should be worried. You should always be fucking worried about it. Yeah. It's just you can't sit in this worry all day. If that was the case, then there'd be no greens, blues, reds. Fucking, it'd just be gray and black and white all the time. Yeah. And you can't have that. I mean, there are still people that focus on the gun control laws and gun control bans and stuff like that. Right. Friggin' the entire time that maybe everybody else isn't. There's still somebody fighting for that. But as a whole, yes, friggin' American culture and the American population, we bop around.
We are kind of scatterbrained. Yeah. I think, like part of what really upsets me is that, everybody takes like an extremist view. Somebody talks about gun control because yesterday I watched a video, a kid, and they did this to illustrate a point, I suppose, but he tried to buy beer and the lady laughed at him, and then he tried to buy a scratch-off ticket. And the sweet lady was like, "No, baby, I can't sell you a scratch-off ticket." And then tried to buy a cigarette, and so on and on. And they wouldn't let him. And then they went to a gun show. It's a 13-year-old kid. Yeah. Went to a gun show, and the kid bought a gun. From a private dealer on a gun. So, but everybody says when they hear gun control, their mind automatically goes to trying to, repeal the Second Amendment, which I don't think any, like I'm a veteran I love guns. I think guns are great. I enjoy shooting them. I think that they're good to have for protection when you need them. Yeah. I think that, they're great for people who like to hunt, I like guns. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with talking about responsible gun legislation, like more thorough background checks. Because I can, I'm from Iowa. I can go to the pawn shop and buy a gun today. Right. The other thing I hate is like, well, criminals don't follow the rules, so they'll never, it's not going to change anything. And I think, well,
then why have rules?
Why do we have a speed limit, or why do we have,
people
because
are going to speed. Yeah.
Right. So, I think that you can come to an agreement, and I've seen a lot of people who are also gun advocates who say, you know what, assault weapons don't serve much of a purpose outside of the military. And then you have people who say, oh, well, the government is going to enforce martial law. And I think, well, here's the thing. Your 1,000-gun arsenal is not going to do anything against the United States Army that has 1.6 million people in it, Right. Like you and all your friends having 1,000 guns or whatever kind of crazy stuff is not going to combat, 300 or 70,000 Marines, 1.6 million Army people, 300,000 Navy people. It's just, you're not, like, if the government wanted to oppose martial law, they could today, and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. Right. There's just, you're not going to win. So saying, as long as they don't take away the Second Amendment, I'm for it, The other thing I always hear is like, well, we don't have a gun problem, we have a mental health problem, which I absolutely agree with. I think that mental health is at the core of this problem. But then, you see Republican legislators who are promoting, and Trump has promoted cutting mental health services, cutting Medicaid, cutting the things that will help people, kind of get through this. And it's like you can't have both. You can't say we're not going to take guns away, but we're also not going to help with mental health. Right.
Well,
so, that's my opinion.
Well, and that's the thing. It bringing this. The issue with guns and mental health has been going on for a while now, and it's been easily years. The last decade, for the last decade at least, and even longer. Columbine, before that even, and what cracks me up is the idea that the kids eating Tide Pods is still relatively new, and they've already started to crack down on that. It's like nobody's ever taken out of school with Tide Pods,
right?
You know, but just this idea that they're going to come out and clean out my gun cabinet.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case. They're just trying to make sure that everybody has them, that can operate them safely and in a proper fashion, and not fucking go nuts with it. Doesn't have a history. And then they'll also come back and say, well, the Las Vegas shooter, he didn't have a history. Okay, sure, all right. There's going to be cracks in the system, but with as many times as it's happened,
right,
that's far too many cracks.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing is ever going to be perfect. You know, we used to not have a federal seatbelt law, you know?
You're right.
And then once we imposed that, you know, automobile deaths went down. That doesn't mean that people aren't still going to die, but also just because people are going to die doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the rule at all, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that, you know, it's idiotic to think that, you know, the only gun legislation that people are going to try to push is complete ban of all guns, which, you know, I've never even heard anybody suggest.
Yeah.
You know, they may say, hey, bump stock should be illegal, which allow you to fire an assault rifle faster. I was in the Navy with a guy, and his whole family they love guns, you know, pretty conservative people. And I saw his dad, who is a Navy vet also, like his son, said, you know, like, you know, everybody who knows me knows that I'm for the Second Amendment, but there's literally no reason to have a bump stock, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. I was surprised to see it, you know?
Yeah.
But even the NRA has said, you know, bump stocks don't really serve much of a purpose except to shoot guns faster. They're not like an ideological part of a gun. They just don't need to be around. But,
well, wasn't there, and everything I know is from, you know, the news and hearsay and that kind of thing. Nothing I'm saying is from complete experience of guns or their history.
Yeah.
But wasn't there something in the last couple of years about suppressors also? Some state was fighting for the legalization of suppressors.
I'm not sure about that. It might be. But the thing is there's a lot of gun parts that, you know, are, you know, what do you need a suppressor for? Unless you're a military member, or in like a police SWAT force where you need to, you know, be quiet. There's no reason for Jake McDowell to suppress his 9mm unless he's trying to commit some sort of crime. You know, they just they don't serve a purpose, man. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't, you know.
But just the fact that people are trying to fight this so hard. Like, well, I need a suppressor. I need an extended magazine. Or I need an extended clip or whatever the terminology is. I know there's going to be somebody out there. It's not a clip, it's a magazine. Or it's not a magazine, it's a clip. I get it. I don't know everything. I was never in the Army. I was never in the service, and I didn't play Call of Duty. So I don't know all the fucking terminology. Forgive me. But, you know, there's always going to be something that, like, people are fighting for. It's like, hey, all we're not going to fucking take away your guns, fucking, and that was another interesting thing is I saw somebody posted. So, you want the same guy that you've been calling Hitler for his presidency to take your guns away? Like, you want the Hitler guy to have your weapons? Like, no, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is maybe the guy that fucking shouts at squirrels and says, go back to your country, shouldn't have a fucking weapon.
Right.
That's all we're saying. Fucking check the people with mental health issues, with a history.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Right.
If you've got a gun and you operate it safely and you take it for target practice, you keep it clean, you keep it going with general maintenance as it needs, fucking do your thing.
Yeah.
If you're able to do that, fucking by all means, keep your fucking gun, keep it safe, keep